This weekend is the British round of the MotoGP. Just like other countries, there are some local support categories. So for Silverstone, they have the 1000cc Superstock class from the British Superbike Championship. I don't normally ride in Superstock, I normally ride in Superbike. So our team is the Monster Energy FHO BMW team, and as it's the Monster Energy British Grand Prix at Silverstone, we were invited to take part in the Superstock category. As we do have Superstock bikes from what we raced in the Isle of Man TT, we had the material there ready to go, so we didn't have to build new bikes or do anything outrageous. It was just reset the bikes for circuit racing as opposed to the roads.
And David Todd, who is currently leading the parade after the Superstock Championship, has just come up, so amazing success.
It's brilliant. I think Silverstone's one of my favourite circuits anyway. We raced a full circuit. The last time I did that was in 2017. When British Superbikes has come to Silverstone, and since then we've run a smaller version, which isn't quite as rewarding. But on top of already having the best track in the UK for us to ride around on, we've got the sunshine, we've got good warmth, we've got a crowd bigger than we normally get at the PSB, and we're sharing the track with the MotoGP guys. It can't get much better than for excitement and riding the motorcycle.
We were here a few weeks ago at Silverstone for the Monster Energy Track Day of Legends, where we rode our Superstock bike, but they were still in the full TT order, so had Dunlop tyres, whereas this weekend we'll be complying with the championship regulations to run pirelli and adjusting the settings and so on the bike to make it comply with the British Superstock Championship rules. So although we've had a few track sessions, we're not fully prepared or set up for this event. Just re-familiarised ourselves with the track, where it was actually 2017 was the last time I rode on the full Grand Prix layout. That was the last time British Superbike competed on the full GP circuit. So there are 2000cc categories in the British Championship. One is the Superbike, which I would normally compete in, and the other is Superstock. Both are based off the 1000cc sports bike category. Superstock has very limited changes you can do, so standard swing arm, forks, triple clamp brakes, fuel tank, subframe, seat. A lot of these components are swapped out in Superbike to go for something stronger or lighter, more efficient, more racy, whereas in Superstock the bikes have to remain closer to standard, how the bikes are manufactured or how they leave the dealership. It makes it a somewhat cheaper category than the pure Superbike, although the electronics are a lot more advanced, because in British Superbike we're on controlled ECU, whereas all the production Superbikes now have a very high standard of electronic aids, so you actually are allowed to use all the standard electronic aids that BMW have produced for their road bike. The BMW in this format is actually a very competitive package, but it's still probably 1.5 seconds at most circuits slower than a Superbike time.
14 minutes. had 3 or 4 tenths on the used tank. And obviously not as good as those. I didn't get a bit more where you were getting your way off. PM on pole.
Fairly happy with that. Didn't do the ideal lap that I think I had in me, but that's okay. We're on pole, so pole's looking positive. I think we're in good position to with the setup of the bike and how it feels to go into the race and be consistent at the front. So still kind of feel like I'm learning a little bit about the bike and the tyre combination. So some of my confidence is more optimism, but anyway, we're starting from pole position, so that's the best I can do for the moment, and we'll see what happens in the race. He was going to come today, but just with the preparation with the bike, he needed to do the legwork.
Ready to go. Put 0.8 on the board. 0.8? 0.8.
Yeah, I was just trying to save the tyre, because when you drill it, then you don't get all the things running straight up the So we had a 12-lap race just now. I've come away with the win, which is obviously fantastic for me. There was a little bit of strategy involved. The tyre kind of starts to fade with about 4 laps to go. So early laps you can easily push hard and go, but then you suffer more at the end. So I tried to ride, quite conservative at the beginning, save the tyre, and then make sure I had something to race with at the end. And fortunately, I had already made a bit of a gap once I got on the front, and come away with a win. So now everyone kind of knows what the strategy will be for tomorrow. So the race will be a bit harder, but I'm ready for it.
Yeah, this Dunlop looks a lot better than that pirelli.
Oh, thank you. Just to keep you honest. Yeah. I saw you and Todd. I was like, oh, I wonder who order it was. So after a great weekend of fantastic results, 2 pole positions, 2 race wins, a new lap record. People will probably now wonder, why can I step onto a bike that I don't normally ride and get these results, and then go back to British Superbikes and, you know, struggle to match top 10. The reason for that is that the BMW and Superstock spec is very competitive in that category. It's one of the more race-orientated bikes from a manufacturer. So how it comes out standard as a road bike is heavily fixated on track and racing performance. Where I think, you know, a lot of the other brands are still motivated by how well it operates and performs as a street bike. So then in Superbike, other machines have a huge potential to become greater race bikes when you swap out a lot of the standard components that are limiting to its pure track performance. Whereas the BMW, although we do gain more performance, like I said, probably about 1.5 seconds on average at British Superbike tracks, we're just not able to create the performance that makes the bike more competitive in the British Superbike Championship. I think the controlled tyre that we have, British Superbike, it reduces our grip, our pure grip, and damage into the pure performance of the BMW more so than some of the other brands, it seems. And then also losing the electronic aids that BMW have worked so hard to create for their road bike. When we go to the controlled ECU from Motec that has no ride aids, the bike is more difficult to ride and more difficult to make it competitive against the other brands.
Yeah, obviously a fantastic weekend. 2 wins from pole position in both races. It's not quite the same as winning the British Superbike events and races, but the expectation for myself is always high and the same. So you know, the pressure was on. Felt the same of how I would prepare for the race, and there was actually quite a bit of strategy that had to be put towards the races here because the tyre wear was quite significant at the end of the race. So yeah, the first race I tried to sort of conserve quite a lot and let Joe lead as much as I could, just to sort of save the tyre a little. But in the second race, I obviously knew a lot more about the tyre and the race distance, so I was comfortable just to get out in front and try and break away, which I did. And yeah, just really pleased the bike worked so well, and I was able to just ride every lap to the max and was confident to do it.